Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Possible sighting of stabbing suspect on Saskatchewan First Nation. Durham teacher allegedly caught driving 95 km/h in safety zone on first day of school. City Council candidate wants to build a lift bridge to the Toronto Islands. Police conducting active ground search in Vaughan neighborhood for missing women. Ontario schools will not be closed due to possible spike in COVID-19 infections, Leche. Police say cab stolen from driver at knife point amid several weekend carjackings in Toronto. Armed and dangerous arrest warrant issued for one man in stabbing of women. These were the headlines and let's jump right into the details. Mounties in Saskatchewan reported a possible sighting Tuesday of a suspect in a mass stabbing in and around the James Smith Cree. A notice sent through Saskatchewan's emergency alert system, investigators received a report that Miles Sanderson had been seen in the First Nation community and advised residents in the area to seek shelter. Do not leave a secure location. Do not approach suspicious persons, the alerts read. Miles Sanderson is one of the accused in a deadly series of stabbings that happened northeast of Saskatoon in James Smith Cree Nation and the nearby village of Bulletin over the weekend. RCMP has said his brother Damien Sanderson, 31, who also has been a suspect, was found dead Monday in a grassy area not far from one of the crime scenes. They said his injuries were not believed to be self-inflicted. RCMP have said 10 men and women were killed and 18 were injured in the attacks, not including the suspects. Police had been searching a wide area with alerts issued in Manitoba and Alberta as well. In Regina, a 3-hour drive south of James Smith Cree Nation, police reported a possible sighting on the weekend of a vehicle the pair had driven. Leaders of the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations issued an appeal to find Miles Sanderson, begging those with knowledge of his whereabouts to come forward to help end the manhunt without any more loss of life. Parole documents show Miles Sanderson has a nearly 2-decade-long criminal record and a propensity for violence when intoxicated. People in the region have rallied around the victims and the communities affected. An online fundraising effort has begun for victims and their families in James Smith Cree Nation. It had raised more than $92,000 as of Tuesday morning. Community Garden organization near Prince Albert posted on social media that it is sending produce to the First Nation all for wakes and other gatherings in the days ahead. An Ontario teacher has allegedly been busted driving nearly double the speed limit safety zone on the first day of school. According to the Durham police, the teacher was caught driving 95 km/h in a 50 km/h zone Tuesday morning. First stunt driver of the day is a teacher, Durham police said in a tweet. Numerous charges laid. Durham police did not specify where the incident occurred. Anyone caught driving 40 km/h or more above the speed limit, where the speed limit is set at less than 80 km/h, will face stunt driving charges in Ontario. Drivers also face a 30-day roadside driver's license suspension as well as 14-day vehicle impoundment if pulled over by police for stunt driving. The maximum fine for the stunt driving in Ontario is $10,000. You could also face up to 6 months in prison. Drivers are being urged to keep a close eye on the roads as kids return to the classroom over the next few days. There has been a significant increase in traffic volume over the past few months as people return to the office following years of working from home due to pandemic. Ontario Provincial Police Sergeant Kerry Smith said the number of cars on the street will continue to rise now that students are returning to school in September. The commute time you had in the past or maybe this spring is likely going to be different than it is today, he told CP24 on Tuesday morning, so give yourself extra time. The OPP is also issuing a reminder to drivers that they should be aware of school buses and they can be fined for not stopping when their lights are flashing. School buses in Ontario are using an updated 2-color flashing light system this year. Lights will flash amber when a bus is preparing to stop to give nearby drivers a warning that they should be slowing down. Once the bus stops, a red light will flash. This means that approaching drivers must also stop in order to allow students to either get on or get off the vehicle. Schmidt said that the drivers who fail to stop could be fined up to $400. The Toronto Police Service is also launching their back-to-school campaign targeting drivers in school zones who may be speeding or driving either aggressively or while distracted. They will also be targeting individuals who are parked illegally in those areas. A candidate for City Council wants to build a lift bridge that would connect Toronto's Portlands to the islands. The proposal came from April Engelberg, a candidate for Spadina, Fort York. I have been talking to a lot of people while working on a campaign, and what I have noticed is people's top priority is park access, she told CTV News Toronto over the phone. Given that the rail deck park is not happening the way we initially envisioned because the city doesn't own the air rights, and given that the Ontario place is getting redeveloped in a way that favors the private sector. This is an opportunity for Toronto to make available its massive, largest public park to all Torontonians for free. The idea would be to build a 250-meter bridge for pedestrians and cyclists, using connecting Wards Island to the Port Alliance. Engelberg says a pedestrian could walk the bridge in a minute or two while a cyclist could get across in under that time. The bridge would also have the capacity to lift and allow large shipping or cargo vessels to pass through the area. Engelberg says she's done a lot of research to ensure the proposal is possible and estimates the infrastructure could cost between $10 million and $15 million depending on which level of governments pitch in. As it stands now, residents wanting to visit the islands have to take a ferry across Lake Ontario at a cost of about $9 for an adult return trip. It's about making the most equitable use of the green space that city actually owns. Toronto's municipal elections are scheduled to be held on October 24th. Police are conducting an active ground search in one neighborhood as they continue to look for a 70-year-old woman who has been missing since Monday afternoon. Lavine Gordon was last seen by her family in the area of Mullen Drive and Milner Gate at around 1 p.m. on Monday. Police say that Gordon was planning to go for a walk at the time of her disappearance and may have been seen headed towards Bathurst Street by a passerby at around 4 p.m. that afternoon. Her family and police are concerned for her well-being. They believed she may be lost and not asked for directions, police said in a news release issued on Tuesday. Gordon is described as black, about 5'2", weighing 130 pounds, with brown eyes and salt and pepper hair with slicked back waves. She's possibly wearing a black North Face jacket, black shoes, and carrying a black purse. Ontario's Education Minister guaranteed Tuesday that students will be in the classroom until the end of June regardless of whether or not the province experiences a spike in COVID-19 infections. Speaking with CP24 on Tuesday morning, Stephen Lecce said his office's #1 priority is to keep kids in school. Our health and safety protocols have been designed by the Chief Medical Officer of Health to mitigate disruption to keep them in-person learning, he said. All this is designed to keep these kids in school from September right to June without disruption with the full learning experience, which includes the clubs and sports. The measures Lecce mentions are all part of province's back-to-school plan and includes protocols already put in place prior to 2022-2023 school year, including the installment of additional HEPA filters, enhanced cleaning, self-screening of students and staff, and provision of rapid antigen tests for those who want them. The Chief Medical Officer of Health has designed a program that is really all with the aim of keeping kids in school without disruption that includes more normalcy. I mean, that is a policy commitment of this government after 2 difficult years for kids. He added that if a serious rise in cases happens, it will be the responsibility of local public health units to provide guidance. A proper recovery plan that will restore true stability will require the government to stop making changes with no warning, without consultation, with little funding, and with insufficient training for staff, OSSTF President Karen Littlewood said Tuesday. Stability also requires the Duckford government to make real investments in public education, investments that will ensure robust learning experience in a stable environment with access to the supports and services that students need. Toronto police are investigating a spate of carjacking incidents which occurred over the long weekend, including one incident which saw a suspect flag down a cab only to allegedly threaten the driver with a knife before making off in his vehicle. The first incident occurred in the Jane Street and Shepherd Avenue area at around 12 a.m. on Sunday. According to police, the victim was parking his vehicle and was approached by a suspect as he exited the car. The suspect was armed with a handgun and demanded the victim's keys, police said. The victim handed over the keys and the suspect then got into the driver's seat while a second male was seen getting into the passenger's side of the vehicle before they fled. The stolen vehicle is described as a white 2022 Honda Accord with Ontario license plate CSBD 978. The second incident occurred a day later at 4:14 a.m. in the area of Bremner Boulevard and York Street. Police said a man was returning to a parked vehicle when he was approached by the suspects, who were armed with handguns and demanded his keys. The man fled from the suspects, who then ran back to their vehicle without obtaining anything. Then later Monday, a man was driving a taxi cab when he was flagged down by a suspect in the area of Blue Jays Way and Wellington Street West. When the victim got out of the vehicle to load bags into the trunk, the suspect approached him with a large knife and threatened him before getting into the driver's seat and fleeing the area in the taxi, police said. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.